Hi everyone and welcome to the Pearlie Cute channel. So before we get started on this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. It's quick, it's easy, it's free, and you can change your mind at any time. Just over 50% of you are currently unsubscribed, so if more of you could subscribe, then that would be brilliant. It really helps me out. So this is part 2 of my Substyle Survey video. If you didn't watch the last one, please check it out. It's popped up here. I think it's genuinely really interesting. In the last video, we looked at the popularity of all the substyles in each country. We looked at whether more people were wearing one substyle or a mix of substyles. And we started having a look at brand popularity. This time though, we're only looking at 3 graphs. We looked at a lot of graphs before and editing was not fun. So I made it a lot more simple this time. We're gonna look at only 3 graphs. So I'm not putting as much information into this part, but I am planning on writing out all my findings and making my results public so anyone can look at them and find out any data they want to from them. When I have done that, I will link it down below. Hopefully by the time this video is up, I have already done it, but I may not have because I'm a very unreliable person. So anytime within maybe the next week or 2, it should be up. So last time we started having a look at people's favourite brands, but I only looked at Japanese brands. Now obviously, not everyone's favourite brand is a Japanese brand, and so I also added the question, what is your favourite brand in general? Which I now realise I left too vague, and I meant it to be more specific. I meant, what is your favourite lolita brand in general? But it's fine, don't worry about it, it's cool, it's fine, it's fine. To be fair, the majority of people did put down lolita brand. I did put in little brackets like any country is what I meant, but it's fine. It's cool, it's fine. Yeah, it's cool. And since it was an open-ended question, I left a text box for you to reply in that one, which meant that everyone had a little bit more freedom. And if there's a group of people you can't trust, it's lolitas. You can't trust them to do things right, I swear. So a lot of people put down multiple brands in that one. I said favourite brand, not favourite brands. My fault. But if you did put down multiple brands, I only used the first one that you put down. I just took that one as your answer. So sorry if you had multiple as your favourite. Pick one. Don't play all sides. But then there was some really interesting answers that people gave as well. So I thought, before we get into the results, maybe I'll just give some honourable mentions. So in reply to the question, what is your favourite brand in general? I mean, I got things like Dior and Doc Martens, which, okay, fine, but no. Technically a correct answer, but not the answer I wanted. Therefore, I'm really sorry I couldn't include them. And then we have some really great typos like Last Sloth and Metamorphose. I can't do this. And then my favourite, which I think is extremely patriotic, was someone just put down United States. Anyway, I just thought I would share those with you because I found them quite funny and also very frustrating, but it's fine, like. I was getting mad doing this, but it's like, fine. So, when I did this, there were so many different brands that I decided to categorize them by the regions that they were in. So if it was a Japanese brand, I put it under Japan. If a Chinese brand, under China. If it was a European brand, under Europe, and so on and so forth. I then wanted to see what the most popular regions were. My hypothesis was that Japan would be the most popular, followed by China, then Europe, then other Asian countries, then the Americas, and then finally Oceania. Also, side note, I split up Japan, China, and other Asian countries because Japan and China are such prominent creators of lolita clothing, and they have so many brands in them that it wouldn't really be fair to group them all together. Anyway, here were the results. So I kind of got it. Obviously, I said Japan first. And Japan almost has 3/4 of the popularity, like it's the most popular by far. But then weirdly enough, China and Europe actually have an equal split. They both got 26 votes. So I was pleasantly surprised. Then after that came the other Asian brands. I think all the votes in this category were for Hanuli. And then after that came the Americas, and then finally Oceania with a vote for Peppermint Fox. To be fair, there's nothing very surprising here. Europe's big brands were Lady Sloth and Violet Fane, and they have gained a lot of popularity in recent years. I'm surprised though that they did get as many votes as Chinese brands, as there are so many different Chinese brands that I would have thought a lot of people would have picked them as their favourites, but clearly not. You also saw a lot of brand loyalty, like a lot of people who said that AP was their favourite Japanese brand was like, yeah, it's also my favourite brand in general. And to be fair, it was like that for the majority of Japanese brands. So the next thing I wanted to look at was if the ratio of people buying new versus secondhand changed depending on the age group. My hypothesis was that the older people got, the less they would buy secondhand, as they would have more money to spend on new items. But as you can see, there is literally no pattern. I'm really annoyed by this. To be fair, I think there is like a very slight pattern, but it's just really all over the place. So the under 18 age group buy more new than the next 3 age groups up, and it's only when you get to 35 plus category, sorry, I'm reading this off my phone, it's only when you get to the 35 plus category that suddenly the people buying new just accelerates up. There are loads of people buying new versus secondhand. I don't know. If you look at 18 to 24, 25 to 29 and 30 to 34 age groups, there's kind of a trend where it like goes up a little bit, but you can see I don't really want to like commit to that because they're so similar. There's barely any disparity, so I don't really think it matters whether people have more money. Like, it's not really going to change. So I don't really think the fact that people have more money or like more secure jobs really changes the amount that they buy new. But then again, this is Lolita, and people do have their favourite dresses that they won't be able to get new, so they are going to have to rely on the second-hand market. So it kind of does make sense, and I think it probably, at least in terms of sweet, I think it probably goes hand in hand with the resurgence of 2010 era sweet. So I'm a bit sad that there is no clear trend with this, but oh well. Oh well, we move. So this last one is a little bit of a mistake. I meant to do it first, but I accidentally put it at the end of my list of things to do, so I'm very sorry. But we're gonna go back to when I was doing favourite Japanese brands, because I had a look at favourite Japanese brand by whether people were buying new or second-hand. Basically, I wanted to see who the stingy bitches were. Who's not buying from their favourite brand? And to be fair, I thought it would be all the AP stands. For the reasons previous, not because we're stingy, but also because we're stingy. To be fair, I think it would be for a range of different reasons. I think, firstly, people want the dress that they want, not the dress that has just come out. And secondly, we know from last video that AP fans tend to be younger, and therefore they can't afford as much. Apparently. But then according to the last graph, maybe they can. I don't know. I'm so confused now. Why do under 18s have so much money? I'm so confused. Maybe they buy, that's why. Oh, my brain just exploded. Okay, I just realised that under 18s might be buying new because they're buying more Taobao. It's so much more accessible these days than it was, like, when I got into Daystar it was less accessible, and that was only like 6-7 years ago. But it's become so much more accessible and so much more normalised now to buy from Chinese brands. So that's probably why people are buying new more often. You are going to buy Chinese brands new, you are not really going to buy second hand. Interesting. Anyway, moving on. Back to this. So I think we're going to see less people buying AP and other sweet brands. Not Baby, actually. Baby's a different case. I feel like rich people buy from Baby. But I think AP fans and Meta fans are going to buy secondhand at a higher rate than other brands. I don't know, I have this idea that Moitié fans would buy new. Like, they have a lot of cash to drop because there's not a lot of drops. So when something from Moitié drops, they're like, gotta get in on that, I've got lots of money saved up for that. So I feel like they'd buy new a lot, but I don't know, that's just my perception. Anyway, enough with the hypothesizing, let's have a look at the graph. So actually, it seems the most stingy people buy from Jet J and Victorian Maiden. I see you. Buy from your brand. Victorian Maiden almost collapsed like twice. Can you guys stop buying from your brand, please? Stop. Buy from your brand. Stop buying secondhand. I feel like Jet J is always constantly on the brink. I mean, who buys from Jet J? Can you guys buy from your brands, please? Talk about brand loyalty, crikey. Yeah, it was all really interesting, really. So there are some smaller brands like Antique Beast and Shiglet that people more often said they bought new than secondhand. But since I only got 1 for Antique Beast and 3 for Shiglet, it's quite small pickings. So as I said in my last video, take it with a grain of salt. But maybe they've got a lot of money to drop. I mean, to be fair, Shiglet is really nice quality, so I would too. And as I expected, people drop money on Moitié. I'm telling you, they save up that money because Moitié doesn't drop very often, and so they got the cash to drop. They got it. They got that cash to spend. Something I was really surprised about though was Meta. I wasn't expecting to see almost a 50-50 split. It's very high, the number of people that buy new versus secondhand. So well done, Meta people, I guess. And as I expected, a lot of AP wearers buy secondhand. I mean, to be fair, I do too. It's because when I do buy, I buy from a very set dress list. The dresses that I like have already been released. I try and buy one new release every year. It was supposed to be Rose Tea Garden, but it slipped through my fingers. So yeah, I would definitely buy more secondhand because the dresses that I want aren't new. And I don't particularly want the new prints so much because there's just, I guess they just bring out so much and it's less versatile. Like the style is less versatile. Like some of them are very classic leaning, whereas I guess I'm thinking of Moitié where everything's kind of in a similar colour scheme, so you can just drop cash on any of the clothes because they're all like blue or black or white. Or like gothic colours. I don't understand you guys. Anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is because Angelic Pretty has released such a variety of different clothes and they're not sticking to the same thing, people want to buy less new from AP than they would from other brands. Even Baby is quite consistent with the styles that they bring out, so I think people will gravitate to new releases more than they do with Angelic Pretty. Meta is, I don't understand Meta because honestly, sometimes they produce just, but then other times they just produce. Also, do keep buying new from them. We need to support our brands. Anyway, as I said before, I will put all of these into a document and also release my Excel spreadsheet so you can have a look at the results for yourself and read up on them a little bit more. So with that being out of the way, I just wanted to quickly talk about things that I would do differently next time I do a survey and also the surveys that I'm planning to do in the future. So I think my only problem, really, well, that sounds very narcissistic of me. I'm sure there were many problems, but the only problem that I could really see with it was I had a very small sample size. And the sample size that I did have came mainly from the UK, Canada, and the US. So I think next time to combat that, I will post this survey to multiple places, not just Ruffle Chat, but also I want to maybe, I don't know, it'll be really hard to do this. I don't know if I'll be able to do it next time or like, it's just a dream of mine really, is to do it in multiple languages and then more people can access it better. And then also I know that I would need to be more specific with questions. I need to be less vague next time and then I won't get such like vague answers back. So that's pretty much all I would do differently. And then really quickly, because my battery's about to die, the surveys that I would like to do in the future. I would like to do a survey seeing what colours people associate most with each sub-style, because I feel like it will be kind of the same, but it would kind of differ. Like, do you associate pink or blue more with sweets and things like that? And then I would also like to see what substyles people actually consider substyles. Like, do people consider sailor a substyle, or country a substyle? That would be really interesting to find out. Anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Mwah!